Spotlight camps began today. Find out more. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for July 10th, 2012. I'm Caitlin Crow.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. Troy University has made several noticeable facility upgrades over the past year. In the athletic department, the new Trojan Arena is the big ticket item, but it's not the only facility upgrade underway. Danielle Percival has more.
Last season, the field at Veterans Memorial Stadium was named Larry Blakeney Field. This year, it will be Larry Blakeney Field 2.0. The turf at the Troy University football stadium is being replaced, and head coach Larry Blakeney says that's because the upgrades were needed.
It's certainly time for it to, the warranty's out on it, and it was getting to the point where we needed to replace, and glad we got the project started.
The field will be Progress, the same company that installed their baseball blend for Riddle Pace Field prior to the 2008 season. And Blakeney says it will not only be helpful for the football team, but enhance the experience for fans.
It should be a real add to the beauty of the stadium, and I think it'll be good for the TV footage and also for the folks sitting in the stands. And so we're real proud of it and glad we're getting it, and looking forward to continuing to enhance the facilities.
But a new surface isn't the only upgrade Blakeney would like to see added to Veterans Memorial Stadium.
We need to build a shade for that new turf with the building on the north end, hopefully, for football.
As you can see, the old turf has been removed and the new field is being prepared. Coach Blakeney says within a few weeks, Veterans Memorial Stadium will be ready for action.
They'll probably come back in when they get ready to add whatever elements of sand, rubber, whatever the components are, and then put the turf down and make sure it's attached. So it's probably another couple of weeks, but it'll be pretty when we get it in, and I'm looking forward to seeing it at completion.
The field is scheduled to be completed by the time the football players report for fall camp. Danielle Percival, Troy TrojanVision News.
The Trojans will have 6 home games at Veterans Memorial Stadium in 2012, the most since their move to Division I football.
Over the next few weeks, Troy Department of Theater and Dance will be sharing knowledge with the younger generation. This week, the youngsters are getting a chance to learn some fancy footwork. Deatra Montgomery explains.
A few lucky girls are dancing in the limelight due to Troy University's Theater and Dance Department hosting a summer spotlight camp this week. Though the camp initially started out theater only, the department has decided to expand dance into the week's activities due to Troy's growing dance department.
We always knew in the back of our mind that we want to do something for young people in this community and in this area with dance. And so this is our first step in that direction because it's open to everybody. It's not audition. You don't have to have any dance experience. So we really just want to introduce dance and just shine a spotlight on dance.
But it's not all about choreography. The camp also implements other activities and lessons for the young dancers, such as costume design, learning different types of music, and acting.
There's a lot that happens in the world of dance, not just being a good dancer. So we really want to try to touch on a bunch of different things, not just dance as in choreography to music.
And what better way to end a day of hard work than a reward? These young dancers have an opportunity to get an award mirroring what professional dancers might receive after a dance audition.
We notice in each of our areas who really shone that day. So we each in each genre of dance, we give a couple of callbacks to kids that we thought did a great job.
All the girls were able to come together and learn new and fun elements of dancing, even though they were all there for a different reason.
It gives me something to do instead of sitting at home and laying around.
I've always wanted to do dance, and this is my chance to finally have a dance class.
Because I love dancing.
Deatra Montgomery, Troy TrojanVision News.
These summer spotlight camps will continue next week with the emphasis moving to acting skills.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Birmingham, a mother and grandmother are out of jail after prosecutors dropped charges accusing them of trading the mother's 11-year-old son to a man for cash and crack cocaine. Circuit Judge Tommy Nell dismissed the charges at the request of prosecutors. 52-year-old Alicia Ann Abram, her daughter Amber Michelle Abram, and 36-year-old Cleveland Andre Joyner were all cleared.
And in Montgomery, federal prosecutors are recommending that Country Crossing casino developer Ronnie Gilley spend nearly 11 years in prison for offering millions of dollars in bribes to Alabama legislators. They're also suggesting that Gilley's lobbyist Jared Massey spend slightly more than 11 years behind bars for his role in the case. Prosecutors filed their recommendations with U.S. District Judge Myron Thompson. He's scheduled to sentence the two July 16th.
And in Stevenson, a man is appealing to keep his wife buried in the front yard of his home. Attorney for James Davis says they filed a motion asking a court to let his wife's body remain in his yard until a state appeals court reviews the case. WAFF-TV reports that the judge on Friday refused to overturn a previous decision that ordered the removal of Patsy Davis's remains.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News. 2012 Home Run Derby was last night. Dustin Carroll will join us next in sports with all the details.
But first, find out Obama's plan that he says will help the middle class. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Today is Saturday. Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap a snack Sunday.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
There's a lot more to somebody being successful in society than just their diploma. We're in the business of making well-rounded individuals.
They taught me so much more than skills. At Troy, they truly believe that one person can make a difference.
We want to educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, the body to act. We're not trying to be all things to all people, but what we do very well.
Troy University, in class, online, within reach. Troy.edu.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Caitlin Crow at the Global News Desk. Caitlin.
Thanks, Bailey. President Barack Obama is determined to make taxes a key election year issue. He went to the heartland to make the case that he's the candidate with the class. Republican challenger
President
and
Obama
GOP
took his tax cut message to Iowa. He's trying to convince voters that extending Bush-era tax cuts for households making less than $250,000 a year is good for the economy.
I believe that we should make sure the taxes on the 98% of Americans don't go up, and then we should let the tax cuts expire for folks like me.
The president sat down with the McLaughlins in Cedar Rapids, a middle-class family he says will benefit from his plan.
We've been able to offer the McLaughlins about $4,900 in tax relief.
The president warned Congress he would veto any extension of the tax cuts for wealthier Americans. The veto threat is setting the tone between the president and Republican members of Congress, with neither side willing to hand the other an election year victory.
This is not going to help our economy. There's nothing more than election year politics.
GOP White House hopeful Mitt Romney calls an extension of all the Bush-era tax cuts a matter of economic freedom and insists the president's plan would hurt small businesses.
So at the very time the American people are seeing fewer jobs created than we need, the president announces he's going to make it harder for jobs to be created.
If Congress doesn't act, the tax cuts will expire at the end of the year. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Washington.
Congress is back from its 4th of July and ready to get back to business. First item on the House agenda, repealing President Obama's health care law, the Affordable Care Act. Susan McGinnis is on Capitol Hill with the story.
Are making a move to repeal President Obama's health care reform law.
This has to be ripped out by its roots. This is government taking over the entire health insurance industry.
Just days after the Supreme Court upheld the law, the House begins debate today and will likely vote tomorrow on House Resolution 6079, the repeal of Obamacare Act. The vote will be the 31st time Congress has voted to repeal, defund, or dismantle the Affordable Care Act.
It's like Groundhog Day around here.
The bill will likely pass the House, but it's virtually certain to fail in the Senate. And even if it did pass, the White House has already said the president would veto it, leaving some wondering why they would hold yet another vote.
A new Kaiser Foundation poll finds most Republican voters want Congress to keep trying to repeal the law. 41% of independents and just 14% of Democrats feel the same way.
The most obvious downside of Obamacare is that it's not affordable. His plan raises taxes by over $500 billion.
Mitt Romney promises to repeal the health care law if he's elected in November. He's been able to raise millions of dollars for his campaign as a result of the Supreme Court ruling.
This health care issue is definitely going to be firing up the grassroots base, and probably in a way that is going to be very beneficial to Republicans.
President Obama says the health care law is good for America and that it's time for Congress to move on. Susan McInnes, CBS News, Washington.
The British military has a massive security plan in place for the Summer Olympics, including putting missiles around the city. Residents in East London tried hard to keep the weapons out of their neighborhood, but as Monica Villamizar reports, they've lost their fight.
This London apartment building is about to get a new feature: rooftop missiles. A British judge ruled the military can legally install them, and that's upsetting residents.
I'm scared, and I'm scared for my kids as well because we're living here.
The missile system, similar to this one, can shoot down a hijacked aircraft. London security forces are using the missiles to protect against a possible terror attack during the Olympics. But residents worry the weapons will make this neighborhood a target for terrorists.
Whatever they have decided is now set in stone, so we can't really change much.
East London residents held protests and filed suit in the city's High Court to keep the missiles out. But a judge rejected the challenge, saying the weapons present no real threat to residents.
The clear implication of today's judgment is that the Ministry of Defence now has the power to militarise the private homes of any person in Britain.
The British military is expected to install the surface-to-air missiles within days. And this building is just one of 6 locations in London where the weapons will be deployed. It's all part of Britain's massive security operation for the Olympics. Fighter jets, naval ships, and more than 20,000 soldiers and guards will work to keep the games safe. The military says it's putting missiles on this apartment building because it offers a clear view to downtown London and the Olympic Park. Monica Villamizar, CBS News, London.